What's going on? Welcome to QVO Games. My name is Juan. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it so much. This video is going to be about the games coming into the week of November 12th. We have some great games, and I'm excited to talk about. Always excited to talk about games, of course, and conversating about games. However, some good ones that I'm really excited to tell you about. So let's get this video going. I don't want to make it too long. Save you your time when you watch this video and get your information that you need about the new games coming to retail. Let's get going. Keep in mind, covering the games coming to retail in the US. If a game's release date changes, I'll make sure to update you about the release date in its new respective video, if that does happen. Let's get these games shown. Here we go. November 14th by Capstone Games is going to be Match of the Century. Match of the Century has been one I've been looking at for a while. I always love a good chess-style game. I always brag about the fact when does a game turn into chess. Something I don't like. Right, when a game doesn't have enough of a some variability of like a mechanic of some sort that makes it a little more random, a game then turns into a game of chess, right? If you put this and this, if I grab this worker and put this worker here, grab this card to play this card, I have now scored 25 points, the most optimal first move. There is a lot of that as well in a lot of games, and yet certain things are pulled. However, when there's an act of randomness, it kind of takes away from being chess. I do love chess, though. It's just when it comes to some games like that, like, do you really enjoy mastering a game where you can memorize the first 4 moves, and have the best chance of winning? It's kind of when it comes down to that point. Match of the Century is going to be a game where you're playing as a chess master, essentially, right? You're at the World Championship, the final match, and you're going through playing as like a showdown of chess. You're not necessarily playing chess, though. You're going to have your board here, and you're going to be playing cards, and they're asymmetric cards, right? Asymmetric players. You have the red player and the blue player, and you have your cards, and your goal is to, when you play your cards, to go up and down on the mind track, essentially. It's not a game of chess, but it's as if you're playing a game of chess. You're going into their mind, messing with them, quote unquote, right? That's kind of the thing. I'm intrigued. I dig it. It's pretty interesting concept. I love that. And like I said, I love chess, and this is not really chess. It's a game of cards, right? More like tactical strategy with cards. So I'm curious to see what's up with this game. This is Match of the Century coming out by Capstone Games on November 14th. Coming up next, come out to you on November 16th, Dune Imperium, Uprising, and Dire Wolf. Wow. Dune Imperium is a great game. It's an amazing game. Dune Imperium is such a great game. Oddly enough, such a great game, and I don't own a copy of it. Even though I do love it. I do think it's an amazing game. I just don't own a copy of it. I have a lot of friends that own copies, and I just play their copy whenever we play. So it just kind of works out that way. But I love this game, but Dune Imperium Uprising is an expansion to Dune Imperium, a standalone expansion here. You can play it on its own. This game adds in some really cool things. So Dune Imperium as a whole, first things first, is a worker placement style game with some player conflict when you throw in your troops into a battle, and your whole goal is to get to 10 points before everyone else. And when you get to 10 points, it ends up triggering the end game, and people have secret objectives and such. It's a really epic game. I like it a lot. It's super fun. I really enjoy it. This game can almost be like a game of chess. Like, I think what indicates what you do and don't do is like by your other players, depending on what they do. And also, I guess, because then you have your deck building aspect, which kind of lets you know, like, when you pull cards to do certain things. But you could plan out what moves you're gonna do, because your first 10 cards are basic ones that you always have. I mean, and then you start building your deck out, adding cards in, following a strategy, which works out, which is does a really good job. The card play in the deck building is amazing. It does a great job doing that. In Uprising, this brings you in a new solo mode, some new cards, and as well as some 6-player mode pits, right? So you can play with 6 players and even have teams of 2. So you have teams of 2, 3v3. Now that is what caught my attention. I'm like, oh, that sounds pretty cool. I like this game already. I can only imagine how a team style of this game would be like. I'm curious. I would love to see it. I can imagine like the conflicts as well. Like, you throw in and whoever has the most troops wins. I want to see it. I love it. I want to try it out. This is probably one I will be picking up and I will be playing as soon as possible. Dune Imperium Uprising by Dire Wolf coming out to you November 6th. Coming up next by Fantasy Flight Games, coming out to you on November 17th, is Deadpool, a Marvel Champions Hero Pack expansion. I talk about Marvel Champions a lot, so I'm not going to go into it too much. I say this every time I mention it because they have so many expansions. Deadpool Marvel Champions, it's a living card game, and you go in with the cooperative game mode, and you pick your favorite hero, which there are a bunch of expansions, and you go in and you either play against a villain with a specific scenario, or even a campaign mode. Depends on how you want to set up the game. It's a great card game. I love it. One of my favorite games ever. I really do enjoy playing it. It is definitely a big money pit when it comes to buying all these new expansions. However, great game. I love it. Recommend it. Deadpool Marvel Champions Hero Pack expansion coming out to you November 17th. Coming up next, we have a smaller game by Greater Than Games, Purrfect Match, coming out on November 17th. In Purrfect Match, you're running a cat cafe. I couldn't get the word out because I'm like, it sounds so obscured, but cat cafe. You're in a cat cafe. You're in a coffee shop. You have a cat cafe. You have coffee and such, and then you have kitties and cats everywhere. And it's a set collecting game. You're going to try to match up. You have to have the best set of cats, variety of cats, and matching them to the owner and getting the most points out of it. Right? That's the gist of the game. It's a small card game. Really cool theme. If you love cats, there's a lot of games like this already. But if you like cats and that's a theme you enjoy, and I know a lot of people who actually like the whole cat cafe thing and love cats and likes cat artwork, this is a game for you. Purrfect Match by Greater Than Games coming out to you November 17th. I'm saying Purrfect Match. I'm not even rolling my R. I still did that improperly. Moving on to Redwood by Sit Down Games, coming out to you on November 17th. Redwood, pretty cool concept and really cool looking game. I want to give it a shot really bad. You're playing as a photographer and wildlife photographer essentially, right? And you're going in by guessing, you're estimating your movement and the angle of view where you're going to be taking a picture, and the better pictures you take with the best background, you have the synergy between it, you get the most points essentially. Interesting thing though, this is very interesting, right? You have your little photographer, you're going to be moving around, but you don't just pick and choose where you move. You're going to be using little mechanisms, little components that I think I can't even find it. There it is. Here it is. So if you look, there's that little red thing that connects the two miniatures. So you're using those things to determine where you're going to be moving to. And as you move, you're going to be aiming your shot down with these. If you see the little five with a line and like a little, almost like a focal point, right, where you're looking at, that's where you're taking the picture and direction. On top of that, you're going to be adding in like backgrounds and such with different cards. And the cards you put in are going to be, here they are. Actually, it's a better one here. This is going to be where you used to move. And this gray thing here is going to be how you're going to aim your shot. And then you have backgrounds you put behind them. Pretty cool way to do that. Like the way that works. I haven't tried it myself, so I can't form a complete opinion. And reading the rulebook for me alone does not help me get the full mindset of the game, like to its T, right? But that is such an interesting thing of using that to create, like you're actually taking a photo and everything in the line of sight, right, or in the point of view, in the field of view. That is what's going to add up to the point total you're taking when you take those pictures. Super cool concept. I gotta try it out to see if it works. I am intrigued, super intrigued. This is Redwood by Sit Down Games, coming out to you November 17th. Coming up next by Fun Forge is going to be Tokaido Duo. Tokaido Duo coming out November 17th. Tokaido is like a really popular game. It's been out for a long time. And Duo basically makes the game, it changes the game up a lot, by the way. And also makes it now a 1v1 or like a two-player game when you play the game. You have a pilgrim, a trader, and an artist. You're going to roll some dice. You're going to draft your action. You're going to draft the die. And that is what you're going to use that die to determine what you can and can't do, moving specific characters around the board. You're going to have the pilgrim, and you're going to have him visit shrines, forests, seashells, and hot springs. You can determine what number works best to make him do that the most. And the trader will be crafting and selling souvenirs, and the artist will be painting a variety of beautiful vistas and gift artworks to locals. So yeah, as you play, you're going to chuck dice. There's only 3 dice, and you and your other player, I always should have said like opponent. I don't know why it's always to be like maybe like your other friend, your other player. I would say other player at that point. You guys will be rolling your dice, right? There's only 3 dice, 1 for each character, and you'll draft. I'll pick this one, you pick that one, and I pick this one, and that's how you're going to be moving your characters around the board. That's kind of like the push and pull a little bit of like what's going on between you. Like, oh, hope they don't pull this one, plan around this one. Very straightforward game. You're going to move around the board and just picking what you're going to be doing. It's a very beautiful board, by the way. And like I said, there's different maneuvers and different places you want to take each character because there's one of each basically. Interesting stuff. The game apparently won a lot of awards. critically acclaimed. I'm curious. I would like to try it out. I never got to play the original Tokaido. Someone told me about the fact that there was an app, I believe, and I just never got around to playing the app, and I want to, but I'll get there. Tokaido Duo coming out to you November 17th by Funforge Games, excuse me. Coming up next by Gray Fox Games is going to be Last Light, coming out November 17th. This game was released at Gen Con. It was on Kickstarter first and foremost. Then Gen Con had some like copies out to the public. The game was like super hot. Everyone was like running to line up. They had like 25 copies a day or something like that. And everyone was running to grab this game. Everyone wanted a copy. It's so interesting. Well, now it's coming to retail. So if you waited in that line at Gen Con to grab a game and rushed and you missed out, now you're going to go get it at a store near you, which is good. Last Light is a 4X style game. The 4X style game, but it doesn't play like other 4X games. Some 4X games are extremely long. They drag out, which I can find fun in a game usually, but someone might not. In Last Light, you kind of grab all the fun and craziness of 4X game, but you compact it down to like a small amount of time. So like, I heard 45 minutes, 30 minutes like a game, which seems super short to me, even like on the box like that. I think an hour is what I would call it. I haven't played the game myself, but sometimes the time on the boxes, or sometimes people say, it's very situational and it depends, varied. Last Light is a 4X game. You're going to be going in, resources, upgrading your ships, attacking. I want to say like there's 4X and it's like exploration, something else. There's 4 for that 4X word, and it's left my mind entirely, and I knew it right before the video. That's how things work. It's a 4X style game, a lot of player conflict, a lot of fun resource management, upgrading your ships, upgrading your base, going around, colonizing. Ooh, that's the right word, colonizing? Farming, I guess. You're not really colonizing. You're more like farming for resources as you go around. I guess you probably could colonize a planet and then reap its resources. I don't think that's the right word for this one, though, for this game. This is Last Light, a 4X game. If you don't like long, drawn-out 4X games, give this one a shot. Try it out. It's shorter. It's supposed to be more compact. It's very well reviewed. Everyone loves this game. So check it out. Give it a shot. Last Light by Gray Fox Games coming out to you on November 17th. Coming up next is going to be Apiary by, and I might be saying that wrong, so I apologize, by Stonemaier Games. In this game, one up my alley, by the way, I'll say that, only because I love worker placement and I love some resource management. You're playing of one of 20 different factions of bees, so a lot of asymmetry, I'm assuming, going on here. And the bees have evolved, right? There's like a the honeybees have evolved to fill the void over the span of like generations, right? And as they evolved, they have developed technology and such. And when they did this, they are now going to try to advance further, but you're kind of managing it through resource management, worker placement, all that stuff. So you have to be the best at resource management. You have a few resources and you have to make it work. In the game itself, and I'm loading up a picture here for us to look at, you're going to be placing your honeybees, or not just honeybees, there's different kinds of bees. You're placing your bees out, and you're going to be trying to recruit, you're going to try to manage your resources and get more resources, put them out, upgrade stuff, get more points. The whole goal of the game is to get the most points. One of my favorite games of all time, I think I could definitely say it's definitely one of my top 10, top 5, top 10 for sure, is like Lost Ruins of Arnak. I love that game, and I just love the mechanism of resource management and worker placement. I love those two, and deck building is probably one I like as well. I like all three of those mechanisms a lot. This game has a lot of that. It apparently has a solo mode. It has a multiplayer rulebook, of course. It comes with a teaching guide, some player aids, all that stuff, and it has different modes of play. I'm curious. I am extremely curious to try this game out. Just because I said I love those mechanisms, and this includes all those mechanisms. So I am going to definitely try to find a copy, but geez, at $100. I mean, it's Canadian dollars there. I am from the US. It might be a little less, but that seems a little steep for me at the moment. It just seems a little pricey. But besides that, the game looks fun. I want to try it out and I'll give it a shot. I'm really curious. There's actually more pictures. I only clicked the one picture, but it's gives you a little more. Has a very Euro-like feel, in my opinion. I don't think there's any player conflict from what I read, honestly, which is kind of makes it more of a Euro to me. But this is Apiary. Really cool bee miniature, by the way. Super cool. And it's coming out to November 17th. Some worker placement, some resource management. I dig it. I'm ready. Take it. Take me. I'm ready to try this game out. And we are at the end of the video. Thank you for watching the video. I appreciate that. Making it this far into the video means a lot to me. And yeah, I see the stats all the time, and I see that people do tend to watch more often than I think. They do watch the whole video, which is awesome, and I appreciate that. If you like the video, I would love for you to tell me in the comment section, drop a like, subscribe, but also let me know what game you're picking up this week. Are you picking up one of these games that I mentioned, or are you going to be picking up a different game you've been saving up some cash for? You're like, that's a game you've been waiting to buy, and now you finally can buy. Let me know. I'm actually curious to know what game you're buying and start up a conversation with you. Thank you for watching the video. I appreciate it. Have a good one.